How important is it to add something to this team through a trade or signing?
I don't dwell on that at all. You know, I don't. Would you like to have Joe's superstar pitcher? Sure. But you want to give them Manny and Bundy and Gosman and Scope and da-da-da? No, I know what they're going to ask for. I don't dwell on that. I don't want to break up the integrity of, you know, you rob from Peter to pay Paul. I don't spend a lot of time, Gary, as you know, talking about other people's players. Everybody's got hiccups. Everybody's got warts. Everybody's got pimples. There's no such thing as a perfect player or a perfect manager, a perfect broadcaster. We all have hiccups. So, you know, be careful about coveting something that you think is too good to be true, because you'll find out. I like, you know, the way our people go about their business. I know what we got. I like the morale in the organization, and you know, now if Dan walks in and we have a deal that makes a lot of sense, you know, we'll make it. We've shown that in the past. But you know, I'm not beating down Dan's door or anybody's door saying we got to have this, we got to have that. That's not my job. And I want the players to know that too, because they don't want to hear their manager talking about coveting somebody, because that means somebody in there is leaving. Yeah. Or more importantly, they think that I don't think they can do the job.
Personal question I wanted to ask you, because I saw it the other night again. When someone hits a home run and comes into the dugout, you do not go to that player, generally, with a high five and with a group and everything. You stand up at the front as he goes by, and the other players... Do you know you do that, and is there a reason for that?
It's their home run. You know, I want all the focus to be on them. It's a good swing they put on a ball that happened to not stay in the park. Well, nowadays we got the cha-cha and everything going on over here, and God bless them. I mean, I love it. I love watching them celebrate something like that. But I try to stay out of the way. If I do want them to know that, you know, congratulations. I do a lot of things, little things that go on during a game that I pat them on the back about that nobody sees. But you know, the way I look at it, people talk to me about celebrations and all the other stuff. Gary, I've got it's their game, and when something happens where somebody stands at home plate, which our guys don't, and admire a home run and double spin and take 40 seconds to go around the bases, I don't get upset outwardly anymore. I just look over in the dugout. And if it doesn't bother our players, who am I to let it bother me? The way I was brought up in the game 20, 30 years ago, that when you score a touchdown, you act like you've been there before, and by the grace of God, you might be there again. Same way with home runs. But if it's not important to them, why should it be? Because that's really things that are important to them. It's their game. Now, there's some absolutes that I might go, we ain't doing that. Somebody else might do it. But if it doesn't bother them, then who am I to inject the way I was brought up in the game? You know, things do change, but we all have our head shake moments. You and I both, where we'll kind of go, "Geez, really? That's come into our game and that's accepted? What are you going to do?" There are certain things, trust me, that we will not accept here.
But final question regarding the Oriole way, which gets talked about so much. We're doing a feature on that, going back to Paul Richards and the book that he wrote, and seemingly that's where
I read that very good, way ahead of its time.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask you. So you knew about that. That's what the Oriole way is to you?
I saw it as a player playing against them. I saw it in the big leagues. And it's not necessarily it's the baseball way. It's just it's a repetition game. It's a game that fundamentally will always reward you if you stay true to it. But it's just a consistency of you know, being brilliant in the basics. That's really what, you know, we always look for the bells and whistles. I mean, there's a player here the other day tried to make a play up the middle on a double play ball, and I could tell he was getting ready to flip it with his glove and not coming out. And J.J. Hardy would have caught that ball, cleared his glove, showed it to the second baseman, got it up there where he could turn it over, and wanted no attention drawn to him. And to me, that's flashy. That's being flashy. Hey, I'll take all the flash known to man. I'm all right, but it better be within the brilliance of basics. And that's really what all those teams that I played against in Miami and Port Charlotte and Rochester, I remember looking back at it, they were brilliant in the basics. There was a certain consistency of attention to the things that really mattered, and not all the peripheral things that really aren't important to winning.